Hello, everyone. I'm Leonard Rego, CEO of XTblock, and thank you all for attending and participating in our testnet soft launch. It's an exciting day for us and a milestone in our development, and we are happy that we can share this moment with you. And special thanks to Dr. Rex Yip, George Sebastião, and Leo Chris Liu for attending the event. And now hand over to An, who is the founder of XTblock and our core technology CTO. An, you can.
Thank you. Thank you. So today I start with my overview walkthrough for our tech architecture and the deployment process for our tech. What we like complete our basic framework where we can start growing and scaling the tech. So the network architecture require five main node role. Is the client, endpoint, router, proxy, and producer. We have other nodes, but these are the main node of the architecture. And for deployment, we decide to use Docker for our deployment where we can run cross platform. And with the soft launch, we also use Docker already. Uh, on the screen is a block header structure. I must this I didn't encrypt it, but like I try to reduce the size and like reduce our traffic also. Today we also show our Testnet Explorer webpage where we connect with our network and power data like other Testnet. And the product at two versions, one version for community and one version for enterprise with different focus. For the community, we focus on the privacy, and for enterprise, we focus on the busy need. As the DC data center, the performance is much better. But with the community, we want the decentralization, so privacy first. With the Testnet soft launch environment, we use public node with internet speed quite low from 15 Mbps to 60 Mbps and use dynamic DNS. So there are various latency and it create exception. So it require a little bit of like intelligent process to take on of those things like uh, the layer 1 is DPoS and the layer 2 I call it piece of intelligence because it is based on the knowledge of every node. So it's same like everyone know the rule and they follow the rule and with their knowledge they know what is the best for them in the next round. And we also have the bounty program for Testnet node like block rewarding. I add a cost by rewarding transaction in every block. And later when we do the stress test with like like many node required like so we have this bounty program to incentivize the public node to join us and help us. And after me, next presentation will be a Leon presentation about our business model, the shared blockchain computing platform. Leon.
Thank you, everyone, again. And the XTblock blockchain platform is what we consider and what we're positioning as a blockchain for everyone. And our purpose is simple. It is to solve the high cost problem of blockchain applications in terms of deployment and maintenance. What are we disrupting in terms of the competition? Our competition currently in terms of blockchain as a service are the likes of IBM, Microsoft, Alibaba, Wipro, etc. Right? And their fundamental model is to sell blockchain nodes via cloud hosting. And as we all know, there is limited scalability in this regard. The DevOps steps are quite complex and long drawn, from purchasing nodes, which can be very expensive, configuring a network, building a blockchain application and deploying it. And obviously for all of this, you require a dedicated systems administrator. Also, when you want to scale up and down, the reconfiguration is required again, which is a challenge in itself. So in terms of the XTblock as a blockchain service provider, this is very much like an internet service provider that sells blockchain speeds. And fundamentally, our unique advantage is that we are scalable. So it's as simple as purchasing a speed package, which is very affordable. You build a blockchain application, you publish it, and then you can very easily scale up or down as per your business's needs without the need for reconfiguration. We are 90% confident of being able to lower the cost for any of our clients and customers, and we offer various speed packages. This is a snapshot from our website, which is what demonstrates our starter packages, which range from 5 TPS to 50 TPS a month, from $5 to $50 a month. So it's extremely affordable as a starter package. The overall blockchain market size by 2027 is considered to be about $25 billion. And obviously, we have some of the biggest names in the blockchain market, in the technology market, as well as consulting firms from IBM, Microsoft, Oracle, Deloitte, NTT, Wipro. So some of the biggest names in the world are actually backing blockchain right now, as you well know. Here is a snapshot of the market share for global blockchain as a service companies. And with banking, financial services, and insurance leading the roost. And obviously, we have all of the critical industries in the world actually backing blockchain right now. Here's our business model in terms of pricing. Our starter packages are for startup firms and smaller companies. Our shared packages are for growing firms, and our dedicated packages are for large or mature firms. So for the starter packages, it starts as low as $5 a month, as we demonstrated earlier. With the shared packages, you could start at $100 a month for 100 TPS to $20,000 a month for 20,000 TPS. And with the dedicated packages, you start with $1,000 a month for 100 TPS and $1 million a month for 100,000 TPS. Finally, like to move on to some questions to Dr. X, to George, and to Leo. George, can you give us your opinion on who you think our affordable pricing model will appeal to the most?
Well, I think for the enterprises, this is quite useful because enterprises are looking for blockchain as a service. There's also a big launch going on for you can say the China blockchain network, in which they're creating a global network across. So there's a big movement in this space. I think an area that we need to understand, or at least address, is maybe the compatibility level of the smart contracts, so that somebody who has written for a certain type of blockchain, how portable it is to another one. So what kind of migration is required?
Okay.
Or migration effort.
Right. Okay. Leo, what are your first impressions?
Good morning.
Morning.
So great presentation on both sides. Coming from a technical background, I think I'm able to understand it very clearly. But however, one of the comments I would like to go ahead and insert in here is, depending on who we present to, I've been working on projects and integrating certain services into the blockchain with the United Nations, the UN, and also G2G, government-to-government contracts. The area that I would say is maybe we can dumb the presentation down from a business development effort and trying to solve the purpose. Because I really like the last screen that you really showcased as far as the differentiators from the problem to the solution and the value proposition. Right now, I think if we go into something that this is basically a large ticket item, I think Jorge mentioned it, it's very valuable in the enterprise space because of the affordability. This is the same thing that will apply to governments and will apply to the UN for these these US UN aid funds that are from a global impact solution standpoint of view. I think from my standpoint, what I want to go ahead and drive back is why our value proposition, why, number one, you've driven it as far as the cost is concerned, given that the fact that we're in a COVID state, a lot of the expenditures and all the heavy spendings and the heavy lifting are going to be moved away. So we can grab a lot of the chunk of the revenue stream by really having this solution orientation. But how do they get into our blockchain, the XTblock? Are they nodes? Are they dApps? Are they whatever the case? What can they write on there that's quickly for them to implement? That's my comment.
Right. Okay, and we'll address this individually. Dr. Rex, I don't know if your line is clear. I just wanted to ask you if what do you think about the blockchain as the BSP approach that we're taking, like a blockchain service provider, like an internet service provider? Do you have any opinion on that?
Yeah, so quick comment. It'll be helpful if, let's say, in addition to the materials that you have prepared now, if you could illustrate how it can be applied to various applications, that would, I think, help a lot.
Okay. Okay. And do you have anything to say about this?
So on our platform, we allow developer to define the data structure and the workflow. So that way, I think they can like use our platform to develop any kind of application, but like still in our development progress. So I think I need some like help from a software company and also from our potential user to improve our platform. But the main purpose is to allow our developer to work and develop anything they want, and also support them to do data migration.
Okay. And do you want to switch to any of the screen, or?
Yeah, can you switch to my screen?
Yeah, we are on your screen now. Gentlemen, can you all move to An's screen in the view options? It's AL.
Yeah, one follow-up comment. So I understand that for applications, you may have to wait for the application developers and others to adopt your solution. But what I'm suggesting is that now that you have the platform ready, it'll be helpful if you can develop some basic or simple applications to illustrate how you can use the engine. It's just like, for example, when Microsoft released Visual Studio, typically it comes with various software that they have already developed and showing its own source code as well. So that actually will be helpful. Yeah.
Yeah. We have planned for a template framework where we develop a smart contract template. So we walk through every business model and how they can use our platform.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. You want us to toggle through the screens? So we are on your screen right now, I believe. I hope everyone's on the same screen. We are sharing An's screen right now.
Yeah, so on my screen, there are 6 windows, two windows on the right hand side is for the block producer. One used to produce block and one to synchronize block. And we have 2 programs for the router, 1 program for the endpoint, and also 1 for client. What I didn't activate on the top left. So later when the network start the Genesis, I will like power data in with the client.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we move
to you can move to Tian node.
Okay. So that is, gentlemen, on the view options, it's TI. If you can shift to that, TI. in the view options. Is everybody able to see it?
Yes.
Okay, good. Continue on.
Yeah, on the note, there the producer and the two programs is there for block synchronization and block producing. Can you move to Hà node?
Now we're on Ha's node. If you can move to Ha in the list.
Okay,
Yeah, we're on Ha's node.
okay. So Hà node is same Tiến node. It's for block producer.
Lloyd's node now. Finally.
Yeah, Lloyd.
George, any observations or comments or questions that you have?
No, I think it's on the right track, but as with any blockchain, the key challenges are going to be the adoption in the use case scenario. I mean, I'm involved in quite a few projects, from art tokenization, as previously mentioned, to real estate tokenization. One of the interesting projects I'm also doing is to do with gold tokenization, called Ubuntu for Africa, so which will require massive transaction processing capability. But for us to look at this, we need to examine the compatibility level of the smart contract and approach to move from one blockchain to the other, meaning like if today it's done in Hyperledger or equivalent with JavaScript, you know, what would be required to do such a migration in terms of interoperability. I do have a colleague called Mobile Payments, or M1, which Andreas has created a concept of interoperability between blockchains. So he can write a plugin for a specific blockchain, which enables you to not have to worry about the mechanics of each specific blockchain. You know, the same way you talk to you're looking at the blockchain more like a database to store information. So this creates an abstraction layer between the application and the blockchain. And you could, in one application, read or write data to several blockchains at the same time. So I think this is one of the areas that we need to explore as we move forward and we get more adoption.
Right. Yeah. I think that's a good point. Yes, and the interoperability is something that we are actually very focused on as well. So that's a very key consideration for us as well. And yeah.
Yes, I'm referring to the security audit. Any security audit done yet?
Security audit, yeah. An?
We have our security team working on that, so we do internal penetration and also a list of cybersecurity attack before we go to a company to do auditing.
So I think what An is trying to say is that we're doing that internally for now, Dr. X. So we're not at the stage where we have an independent auditor looking at it. Yeah, but we will get to that point.
Okay, so can you move to my screen?
Yeah, so this is to, can you move to An's screen, please? AL, it shows as AL on the screen. So just switch to An's screen. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay,
on my screen, the data processing, but I'm not powering data yet. So can you go to, wait, let me go to Tuấn screen.
Tuan's screen is TD.
Yeah.
We're on one screen.
Okay. Do you see the web page?
ED, yes, we can see the web page. Yeah.
Okay. So now I will power data in. Currently, it is showing data, but not from the client. It's the CoinSpace transaction for block rewarding only.
Mhm.
Okay. So now I power data into the network. Do you see?
And it's static. I think you might have to refresh. So we are on one screen right now, but there's no activity yet.
Oh,
I think his screen might have frozen. So can you stop sharing and start sharing again, Tuan? Tuan, can you please? Okay, it's working now.
yeah. So you can see the data power in
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a delay, but we can see it.
yeah. So now I power a little data insert like yoga, right? So today is not a stretch test. Today is just a yoga test.
Warm up. Yeah.
Warm up. And following we will have a stretch test with like we will power a huge data into the network. Now the dynamic DNS works. So if you want to check it, you can say that go to xtb.ddns.net and /blocks. I think it deploy on one screen.
Yes. And you can copy paste it in the chat if you can.
Yeah. The Zoom chat, right?
Zoom chat, yes.
So it's only available for our soft launch event. After the event, we will switch the network off.
Great. Yeah, be able to see it.
Yeah, I said.
Yep. Thanks. So Anna shared it in the chat for anybody who wants to check it live.
Tuan,
Yes.
Tuan,
Yes.
can you on your screen when you are sharing go to Testnet info, the page.
Yeah. Here we go.
Here we have our network information on the left hand side. Later we will allow guests to our client to play with our network through our form, but now not yet. Now you go to a block. And then you click on a block to see the block detail. Can you go to the transaction? Okay, thank you. I think everything is working well. We will have a several update before our strat test and the official Testnet launch. But from now on, we have a very good framework to scale.
Okay, great. Thank you everyone for your valuable time and for a successful testnet soft launch for XTblock. And we appreciate your ongoing support, obviously.
Okay, thanks. All the best.
Thank you very much,
Thank
everybody.
Dr. Raj, thank Josh, thank Leo.
Thanks, Leo.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Great job technically, guys.
Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate it, and it was successful. We could probably do it a little more smoothly next time. We can do a rehearsal of the full start to finish. But thanks very much for your help. I know it was an early morning for most of us. So all the best, and we'll be in touch soon. Ann, do you want to say anything else?
Yeah, thank you, everyone. This is my first time ever doing thing like this, right?
Yeah, great. Thanks a lot. Okay, see you guys.
Yes.